In 5, 4, 3, 2.
What happens when you mix characters and genres all together in a big blender? You get stuff like cowboy centaurs.
I'm Carly.
I'm Sam.
And this is Time Sweeps. Live life, breathe air. I know somehow we're gonna get there.
It feels so wonderful.
It's all for real. I'm telling you just how I feel. So wake up the members of my nation.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why do you remember all that?
Because I watched the shit out of it, and now my sisters are all watching the shit out of it. My 2 sisters are watching the shit out of it.
I see.
So it's still there, and so's Victorious. So's Drake and Josh. I
have
got
no
Dylan on
s-
Drake and Josh.
I
I tried to
no
get Dylan
sympathy for
into.
Victorious.
I tried to get Dylan into Ned's Declassified, but she didn't like it. I was like, "You suck."
They have a podcast now.
I know, which is crazy. Cookie, Mose, Ned have a podcast. Shout out. Even though they have way more subscribers
To the full celebrities that exist and have their own entities as people.
It's okay. Yeah,
We're back, I guess.
That took 10 minutes.
To get into the episode, it took 10 whole minutes.
Holy shit.
So today is a day that we're all marking on our calendars.
Why, are you okay?
No, let's
Why?
keep going. Today we're marking this day on our calendars.
Because today is the day that I get to explain my thoughts behind cowboy centaurs.
Oh, God.
I was sitting one day.
No, this isn't marked on the calendar. You've explained the thought process before. It's seeing the image I did. That's what changes it.
Why? Because you could
Because
picture.
why would his ass be colored 2 different tones like he's a show horse?
It's a different breed. It's a paint.
What kind of wild horse looks like that?
It's a paint.
That's a domesticated horse.
He's a domesticated man.
That's not how that works.
How not? Normal centaurs are out on the lam, and this guy lives in a town with the other centaurs. And there's American paints before that were not domesticated.
They were totally domesticated because the idea of horses in North America didn't exist until domesticated horses were brought here.
Yeah, but then there's wild horses now, though.
Yeah, because we released them. That's like wild sparrows. It was a pet.
But they're still there.
They were domesticated and released.
I just thought it looked cool. He doesn't have to look like that. I just thought it looked cool.
Okay.
Why did you fixate on that alone?
Because that doesn't make sense to me, because it's like a German Shepherd. Why would a werewolf turn into a German Shepherd? That was my thought process in that kind of system.
German Shepherds are cracked. L
Well,
plus
yeah,
ratio.
I mean physically, but I mean like if you look at them, that is a domesticated form. It was man-made, is what I'm trying to say. Hold on. I have a thought process now that makes this really creepy. No.
How did they get that way in the first place?
Breeding, selective breeding.
Selective breed amongst themselves.
That's what I was about to say. Selective breeding from either the outside sources of other species like elves and humans and dwarves. And the centaurs have finally caught up to the point where they're just like, yep, I'm the sheriff of this town.
Is that his nostrils?
Yes.
I like to think centaurs, since they don't have horse nostrils, they just go with their mouth.
Oh, no. They don't have the, like, big snow. They just have the big-ass nose.
Yes.
What if their nostrils were like that?
How
I saw a
big are
guy
their
on TikTok,
lungs?
his nostrils
How
were
long
that
is their
big.
intestines?
Well, so if we look up centaur anatomy, all their shit's in their horse body.
So what is the top portion?
It's
is there even
flesh and
skeletal?
muscle, I think. It's like a
How much of it's
skin
cartilage?
tag. It's like a skin tag. Centaur anatomy.
How many stomachs would a
So
centaur
is its
have?
brain in its head?
No, okay, so its lungs
would its
are somehow
be
in
its-
its human torso. So
I mean,
how
it would
did
make sense if it's like a lot of lungs
in its
the
heart
top area.
Yeah, but it's just normal human lungs.
Those are not the size of normal human lungs.
Fucking, think about it this way.
Yeah, I see its an anatomical penis.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's retracted into its body. It's what horses do.
He goes, "Oh my god." That's about the size of a normal lung.
That is not the size of a normal lung,
that's
Gary.
That
a
looks
person.
like a cornucopia. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
no, Gary. See that? That's where your belly button is. I want you to look up a
Your
diagram.
rib cage goes like.
I want you to look up where a diagram of the lungs end. Think about how big your rib cage is. And then think about how big it would have to be in comparison to that.
Human anatomy.
Those lungs are much bigger.
Are they?
They would have to be as well because he's pumping a lot more blood.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. Shut up. I'm dumb. I'm not in college. I flunked out, remember?
We weren't saying that.
Yeah, I don't think I took any anatomy classes in college either.
Anyway.
I did botany.
But yeah, so big old lungs.
You know
Gotta have big
plant
old
anatomy
lungs.
and
He's got
rocks.
big old things in his backside. He's got. Yeah, so his lungs have to be bigger. It's just lungs and heart, and a giant ass heart too.
How big is his heart? How big is a horse heart?
Like 4 human hearts?
So how big would a centaur heart be?
Probably 5 human hearts.
No, probably like 4 human. Probably the same size as a horse.
Possibly, but
Because like think of it like like a human torso is about the size of like a big horse neck. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So like it's
But
not, you're not adding
there's
too much.
more things going on in it though.
Is it? You just got your lungs and the heart up here in your neck of a normal horse. You just move your lungs and neck up, the heart up there.
Right, but I also am like imagining how much of the blood consistent, like how much liters of blood are added because of how the size of it all.
How big are centaurs compared to regular horses?
Dude, it depends on who's making the centaurs. Sometimes they're the size of like a war horse,
Well,
and
like, and
sometimes it's like a
sometimes-
draft horse or a race horse.
like
It
in
just depends on
Hercules.
who's doing
Have you
that.
seen the picture of
He's
the baby
ginormous.
centaur?
The what?
Have you seen the picture of the baby centaur? That since like how horses start walking
Yes.
as like right after they're born, and how babies don't.
It's just like a really awkward torso on like a walking body. Because like the whole thing is just yep.
It's a really awkward torso on a horse body.
Because babies can't even like support their own neck for a while. Or
Yeah.
human
No,
babies,
they
Yeah, but
can't.
what's
which is a really weird thing to me.
I didn't even see that one in the background.
So it's just slumped over.
Oh, I did not want to open Subway Surfers.
Look up baby centaur.
Um,
Dude, it's funny as hell.
I like reverse centaur.
no, that's
really
terrible.
funny.
It's just BoJack.
It's just BoJack
It's
Horseman.
not because he's got horse hooves on the top. It's this picture of like a butt naked dude, but with horse hooves on top. Yeah,
That's disgusting.
not quite, but we're getting close. I told you that didn't have the legs.
That's
on
all
top.
torso. That's all torso.
Think about how little blood it uses compared to the regular centaur.
Oh, this one?
It just.
There we go.
It just.
It
runs
still
its
has human
tongue,
arms,
it's just
though.
like, wah-bah-bah-bah-bah.
Or this one?
It's just rotary.
We're getting closer. It's like that, but you see his butt cheeks. That's what I remember.
Okay.
Oh god.
This is just okay. Oh, that's.
Getting a little fallout in here.
Oh, this one. But he still has human.
There we
arms.
go.
He still has human arms though.
Dang it. I remember one of them not having human arms. Although I guess it would make sense in the
Oh.
context of a centaur. Getting closer.
I don't know. Oh my God.
I'm involving
That's
these in my
terrifying.
next D&D campaign.
You are not doing that.
You're not doing a reverse centaur. You're not.
I'm involving them. They're going to travel in herds.
Reverse centaurs?
Yeah, but they can't have hooves. Like up above hooves. They gotta be like.
Why can't they have above hooves?
Because I think it'd be so funny if they just had no arms. No.
at that point, they're just among us.
Among Us.
They are among us. Oh, this is like weird.
See, I'm telling you, man. Centaur cowboys. Go on. Finish your thought process and the
So
context.
I thought
of
it like
their-
like cowboys, right? Like because I was playing Red Dead Redemption one day, and I was like, oh, cowboys. And then I looked over and I had D&D Beyond open, and I was like, Centaur gunslinger. That'd be rad. What about a whole western town of centaurs. Like they're F the woods. They just be out in the west.
They moved out to the prairie.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna integrate that into my next campaign that
I think
I'm writing.
Really funny when they're in the woods too.
Why?
Because there's something funny about them. Just like you see all these European wooded areas, and they have like these intense tree roots and like classic forest standards, not like manufactured human forest type looks.
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of dips and dives and horrible little holes that like a horse gets tripped and you got to put it down. So I ask you, do centaurs survive upon the concept of a death cult, and whoever the hole chooses, if they run past it and die, they have to put that person down?
Maybe. I feel like it's like so funny like how strong horses are but fragile at the same time.
Oh, they're giant rabbits.
Yeah.
They bite, they're skittish, and with the slightest touch in the wrong way, it's dead.
Yeah, but like they're so strong though, and like that's like
it just takes so much
right
for that fragile touch.
One of my favorite videos,
like a hole in the ground.
A goose
Or
was like
divot
biting
in the
a
track.
horse's leg, and it just goes "Wah-cha!" and breaks the goose's neck.
Hilarious.
hilarious.
Have you ever seen
Deserved.
a giraffe kick things?
Yes, it's so awkward.
It's the strongest kick in nature.
Is it
And
really?
oh yeah, they're made to murder lions in one hit. Yeah. Because if
Well, giraffes are just big horses
kind of yeah,
who evolved to
kinda
have
the-
big necks to eat the treetops.
with stupid little horns.
Yeah.
I still don't get the horns. The horns make me mad. I don't know why.
They're like, "Ah!"
It's like, what in the name of evolution are these even for?
To stabby
But they don't stab. They're nubbed.
the red kangaroo and a giraffe.
Which one does more?
It says strongest kick. Zebra kicks with about 3,000 pounds of force between the well-known force behind a kick of a kangaroo and a giraffe. You might be surprised to read the zebra beats them both.
Excuse me?
When threatened by an adult zebra, can kill a fully grown male African lion with a single blow to the body.
Interesting.
Shit.
But zebras are just wild horses. like
Wild, skinny horses.
wild asses.
I mean,
Aren't they closer to donkeys than they are?
They're like an in-between.
we've talked about honey badgers on the show before. Honey badgers, my favorite African animal, will seek out lions to fight.
I found a page of the strongest things in nature.
And they're like,
Give me the weirdest one in here in a second.
Okay.
Connor?
Keep going.
and like, sometimes they win. Well, they won't kill the lions, obviously, because, they're not really big enough to do that. But, they'll kick the lion's ass still.
Imagine if we had like a fleet of honey badgers that all worked with each other.
Well, they
Like
do
a
show
solid-
cooperation.
But like 15 of them. Like a kill squad.
A kill squad?
Of honey badgers.
Oh, shit. Dude.
Wait, can honey badgers take a bullet? Depending.
Gotta be.
Sometimes.
Because I have a lot of questions about involving honey badgers in the terms of external affairs, not within the confines of nature, if that makes sense.
I mean,
Like, if I dropped off a bunch of honey badgers that were trained to do things in the middle of Afghanistan, how far would they get?
they could get pretty fucking far.
Could I teach a honey badger how to use a gun that was specifically manufactured for it to be?
I mean,
From
they're
his
pretty
monkey
smart.
has a
I don't know
gun.
about using guns,
From Critical Role.
but like
Okay.
they've been known to open doors and shit.
What, badgers?
Which,
Yeah,
I mean, a
honey
cat
badgers,
can do
yeah.
that, though. A house cat can do that.
Well, like honey
Dogs can do that.
Yeah, I know.
Because
but like,
there's like my cousin's dog actually does it with his nose because he's a big old shepherd and he.
I've told the story of Stoffel the honey badger, right?
Yes.
He's escaped, and then like once they moved the lock higher, and they gave him a girlfriend so that he would like stop. He got the girl in on it. She boosted him up so that he could get to the lock and undo the chicken wire they wrapped around the lock. He undid the chicken wire
Right.
and then unlocked it.
See, that's why I want to know, if I get 15 honey badgers together, can I have the ultimate death squad?
There might be some rivalry. I don't know.
Summon animals in D&D or whatever it is. Instead of all the wolves, you just
It's
get
just
all badgers.
It's like 7 animals instead of 8 wolves. It's just like
that's a character idea.
it's like 10 badgers.
Wait, hold on. So the strongest animal relative to size, what do you think it is?
Relative to size.
Mm-hmm.
So like to its own size.
Yes.
Or like on a grid of everything.
No, relative, like strongest.
It's gonna be
overall
like an insect or something. Maybe
It is an insect.
Is it
Spider
the ant
or
itself
ant?
or like a carpenter ant?
No, it's not any kind of ant.
Spider.
Dung beetle.
It's the dung beetle. Can
Oh,
lift
Because
1,141 times its weight.
wait,
in
lift
in shit.
or push?
Lifts 1,141
Some
times
dung
its
beetles
weight.
lift their shit. Yeah, they carry their shit.
How do they lift it though? I guess what?
Now, the strongest insect, it says, is the Hercules beetle. And it says
That
it
makes sense.
moves 850 times its own weight.
Moves.
So it specified moves and
versus
lifts.
lifts. Interesting. I have a lot more questions about the dung beetle.
Strongest bite.
Strongest bite,
Mhm.
like bite force.
Mhm.
Of insects or just
No,
animals?
just
kingdom?
overall. This is everything in the animal kingdom.
I was gonna say it's between a crocodile, hippopotamus, and a gorilla. I think, isn't it?
Great white.
No. Honestly, I think hyena is number 2.
That would make sense. It's made to chomp through bone. It's a
Like, if
scavenger
I'm, like,
animal.
Right. But like out of
Crocodile?
memory, I know. Well, this is telling me what number 1 is, but I think hyena is number 2. It's the saltwater crocodile, 37 pounds of 1,000 pounds
Yeah.
of force. And then the strongest snake in the world.
Anaconda.
You just read that.
No, I.
It's an anaconda
it's
steak.
It
fucking
is.
anaconda.
Power of 10 men. It says
No shit.
I was gonna say, you know what would stop it?
strongest vertebrae.
50 BMG.
Strongest vertebrae.
Oh, I saw this on.
Wait, vertebrae? Like
That's
the
what it
bones
says.
themselves.
Dolphin.
Vertebrate or
It's a
vertebrae?
fucking dolphin.
Vertebrae. It's an
So like an
animal.
animal with a spine.
Yeah.
It's a dolphin.
No.
It's not.
Strongest vertebrate?
Mm-hmm.
Like physically. That's a big list.
I know.
It's extremely hard to answer.
I would get
That's
this
a
wrong
big list.
because I wouldn't even
Is
like.
it scaled to size or
No,
just
the strongest vertebrate.
Is it an elephant? No, that's too easy. Is it an Indian elephant?
No, it's the blue whale.
Oh,
I guess that would make sense.
The elephant is
It
on
is.
this list.
I don't know where it would
Strongest
rank.
mammal.
Because I also don't know how you qualify the rankings. Because I guess like a blue whale, yeah, it's moving water physically around it constantly.
But then they say that elephant is the strongest mammal. But
Wait, whales are mammals.
that's what I'm thinking.
Right,
It
so
says
how
it
do,
can
like-
carry 7 tons. Is what it says about the elephant.
But whales are mammals.
How many? How do you qualify carry in this case?
I don't know. Well, this thing just said it said the whale can move 30 tons of water, or can move 30 tons. It doesn't say of water, but like, I think they put that in their mouths. You know.
Right. So
And then
I
they
have a
can
lot of
still swim.
questions.
This is just what this list is telling me. Okay. Strongest fighter.
Fighter?
That's what it says.
I don't know. Gorilla?
No,
Like, how do we measure fighting?
I don't know.
I want to know. Tiger? I can't imagine what is fighting
It's
consists
a
of.
grizzly bear. And then it says can lift more than twice its own weight.
So it's not a measure of like actual fighting.
don't
It's a
know.
measure of just
Subjectivity.
yeah.
I want to see if how a zebra's kick goes against the grizzly bear.
I want to know if zebra
Fucking
kick.
kill it.
You don't know that. Grizzly bears are way more stronger body-wise, I would think, than lions. Because lions are supposed to be sleek and be able to run a little more than grizzly bears are. Even though grizzly bears can run like 35 miles an hour.
Right.
But like, what's faster, a grizzly bear or a lion?
Well, I
African
mean, you
lion.
have the access to find that out.
How fast is a lion? I like
that how this is
Better not be
Charlotte.
lying.
Crossovers and stuff, and now we're here.
I know.
It always comes back to animals because there's
Wait, it's funny.
50 miles an hour.
The last
So
time we
way
tried to,
faster than
the
bear.
last time
Bear
we
talks
tried
at
to
like
talk
35.
about animals, we didn't end up talking about animals. Now, when we're not trying to talk about animals, we're talking about animals.
pretty much.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, arguably, we did have the centaur, so I guess that's what sent us into this direction.
What about a tribe of
Man, bear, pigs.
yes, burp snarts of leonins that travel in a pride. And
So
they
it's-
so just
Just a
anthropomorphic
nomadic.
lions.
Yeah, just a nomadic tribe of lion people.
exactly. But hear me out.
Is this gonna get us?
No, I just can't think of anything.
Yeah, it's a dead end.
What about they hunt all the Loxodons off the Earth?
Argument, I think, in Loxodon would be like, okay, quickly.
And the gifts.
Okay.
No,
what
that's
about-
the gifts that
So
do that.
here's a really useless superpower.
Are we doing so? Like, let's contextualize this. We started talking about the idea of mixing things, and then that kind of became the object of powers get mixed up with all these different characters and stuff like that. You're inevitably going to get something that just doesn't work out. That was the context of like our linear thinking of this episode when we kind of got into it a little bit ago.
We're all autistic, so that's where we are now.
So yeah, like Connor was about to say, a useless superpower.
Would be if
Yeah, I tagged
you'd grow. You can grow, like you can grow, but you can't shrink.
So
So you're screwed.
what if you just kept growing on? What if every time you sneeze you grew, but you couldn't shrink?
I was thinking about the concept of like how Connor said it. A baby doesn't know what it's doing, and a baby's born with this power.
Is it?
The baby would be put down by the time it reached 6 foot size because they'd be like, we can't stop it. We can't do anything.
It'd be like you could do the amusement park thing though from Rick and Morty.
But at what point does it stop growing though? You can't stop
You'd
it from
you'd have
growing.
a full
Time
grown.
baby.
You'd have a full grown adult the size of a skyscraper.
Time Baby.
Time Baby is a different situation. Time Baby is its own entity of like.
But what if he just grew and grew and grew and grew and
chronological-
grew until he went to a different dimension?
What in the Dr. Seuss did you just say?
Or he just
He grows.
he grows so
physically.
big that he just goes into a different dimension.
It just warps out of our existence
Well,
just because of how large
he'd
he
die because from the vacuum of space.
is. Hypothetically.
Well, maybe he would if he got that big.
Unless
he
he
would
got
just
really
become his
big,
own mass.
really
He'd
fast.
become Ego the Living Planet.
he would just become his own mass in space, and then there'd be a giant floating baby in our solar system.
It would be more like our solar system gets ripped in half by a giant baby. It would get so large at that point that it would grow bigger than the size of Earth, throwing off the concept of the gravitational pull of the area, like just completely demolishing what is there. Consistently growing until it reaches the point of, let's say, the size of the sun or something. If it's able to still pull in the same amount of astronomical,
Yeah.
whatever, gravitational pull,
It would die because it would have the sun fly into it, right?
Already be dead because
Wouldn't that kill it?
it would have died because of the oxygen fixation before that. So, I mean, like, we're just getting larger and larger without the
Wait, what?
ends and means of it dying.
It would die. It would die, and then it would stop growing.
That was my initial thought, damn it. That's why the government would be like, we got to put this thing down.
What if it didn't stop growing when it died?
Then we got a new problem. And it's that you got to find a way to incinerate a baby that keeps growing after it's dead.
So you have X-ray vision, but you shoot out X-rays and give people cancer.
Oh, you mean like the classic mad joke with Superman?
Yeah. It's like your breasts have been stared at by an X-ray for 20 years.
That's so strange.
It's so strange. I think that was a Family Guy bit. as well.
Family Guy used it as a bit,
Right.
but I think Mad did it well before Family Guy was
Probably. Mad.
the original for everything.
What if you had you had the dream where you what if you could hear all languages and understand it, but you couldn't speak any language, not even English
Isn't there
or sign language?
Wait, you
I think
can't speak
that's-
sign language?
Mm-mm. You can't speak any language
You
at
can't
all.
do anything. Can you write?
Can you write?
No, you can't do anything. You can only
I can do
hear.
it.
You can only listen to all languages and understand it all, but you can't. You have no means of any sort of
So
communication.
you just
on
comprehend
the outward.
everything,
Yeah,
but you can't do anything.
exactly.
You're just like,
So can you comprehend animals too at that point?
Yeah, why not? Stomach.
I think.
Um,
That came out of a region like in my torso that I don't know what it was.
but yeah, I think you just go insane.
you would.
Yeah, no, that would. What I was about to say, I'm not going to put on the internet. That's how I'm going to dodge that bullet.
Okay, let's move on really quickly. What's a weird combination from you
So are we talking like in terms of powers or just in general?
and everything?
Oh God.
Let's roll up the sleeves.
So if we're talking in general,
Oh,
the concept
shit.
of weird mixes, there's a big list. I like the idea of, like, I've seen Futurama take the concept of genetic confines and mess them all up, but my favorite, one of my favorite.
Like Fry being his own grandfather?
No. There's an episode that they get into the genetic concepts of Leela has a degenerative disease that allows her to become, or not allows, but she becomes more octopus.
Oh.
And there's a big corporation, evil corporation, and it turns out they're actually trying to help people through genetic modifications. And they take that DNA from that disease and apply it to a bean plant, so that way the beans are able to wrap themselves around things with suction cups and grow sufficiently, and also grow at an increased rate.
Mm-hmm.
But following the idea of, like, that genetic monstrosities that you could create with that, they cross the breeding, physically completely impossible, of a pineapple and a porcupine. So that way when you murder it and kill it, the idea is pork. The joke was pork. Porcupine, pineapple mixed together. You get basically a rum ham that's ready to go with skewers already in it. It was hilarious on TV when I was like 9. But these ideas of, like, so hold on, what if I could mix anything? Just straight up anything. And then it led to the idea.
What if you made a pineapple porcupine, but it was the pineapple and it would just quilled you when you tried to pick it?
Pineapple
Defensive mechanisms
Pineapple
would
pen.
destroy the world.
Yeah.
If you could make something that shot quills like a porcupine or explode, like, there's this plant that just straight up explodes.
It's
That's
the
how it spreads its
cactus,
seed.
right?
I think it's a succulent, yeah.
Like, because like if you touch it on accident, it'll just fall apart on you. This cactus,
There's a whole...
and it sucks.
To
Apparently.
find the specific one that I'm thinking of, go to Game Theory and look up what are creepers. Then he has a video about this plant because he goes on to explain how creepers are actually photosynthetic beings, and that's, yeah, it's a whole thing.
Why do they come out at night?
Because that's the only time they would have enough energy stored up and they could go out.
Fair.
But yeah,
We're just cacti.
if we could create some kind of creature that would be able to walk around and explode while also being a food source, but the problem is that everything is defensive, you have created a monstrosity. So if you have the ability to get large and then explode, like a pineapple, all them exploding pineapples. What is it called? Blowfish, pufferfish.
Pufferfish.
Allow it to expand, and then give it the ability to expend quills, more like a tarantula. So that way it can straight up just shoot them out at will, and then mix it with a horned toad. That thing will break its arms to murder somebody, shoot out quills, and as well as just get really big. So imagine Sonic in a ball form that shoots quills and stabs you with its broken ankles.
Sklinkles.
Yes. But it's also an amphibian.
I know why it's Frankenstein's monster going to be.
Or a Labrador-sized vampire bat.
A Labrador-sized vampire bat?
That was my project in high school for the genetic thing that we had to do in biology.
I just made a really scuffed honey badger.
That was one of my favorite projects. But the problem was that I didn't get to take biology until senior year.
Yeah.
What if you
So
just
it got frozen and I never actually had
what
to
if you
finish
just-
it.
crossbreed a fruit bat, like the flying fox, and a vampire bat? What would happen then?
It'd be large.
It'd be a big vampire bat.
Right. A very protein-seeking fruit bat. But imagine if it was even bigger.
Imagine if it was gigantic.
Because there is fruit bats that are actually huge, like those flying foxes that get super big, like in
Right.
like whatever is it, like the South Pacific?
Yeah, like South America, like Brazil has them, I think.
Well, they have fruit bats, but there's some that are like super
Yeah, the
huge
flying
in like
foxes.
South Asia. Flying foxes are all over the world. I think it's like the further north you go, the less, like fruity they are.
Right.
Yeah, that statement's going to age well.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. That's
I'm
the
gonna
audio.
clip that and send it to all your future employers.
The further north you go, the less fruity they are.
I'm pretty sure it's the further south.
I think it's the opposite.
It's a good thing we're talking about bats.
Region.
But yeah, you can find fruit bats all over the world.
I'm thinking just the flying fox ones.
Flying foxes is a term for just large ones.
I thought there was a specific
I mean,
breed
it's
of bat that's a flying fox.
So, like, as I understand it, that's a terminology for like a large encompassing group that kind of has faces that look like foxes. Because if I'm not mistaken, the hammerhead bat also falls in the category of flying fox, just because it's fox-sized and flies.
The
Do not look up.
Petropus is a genus of megabat, which are among the largest of bats in the world. They commonly known as fruit bats or flying foxes.
I thought flying foxes was just a general term.
No. South Asia, Southeast Asia, Australia. I think it's Australia, East Africa, and some oceanic islands.
What a weird superpower. You change sex every time you sneeze.
What?
You change sex every time you sneeze.
So, like,
There's just a bunch
bad
of
allergy day, you could
You
just...
sneeze
you
so
see?
hard.
There's
that
just
you
a
grow
bunch of them.
tits.
Large flying fox, Indian flying fox.
So it is, like I was saying, it's a general term.
But there's, it's like that's the name of the animal, though.
It's still a bat.
Right, but
My
like
point is that flying fox is a general term for, like, a grouping.
Give a flying fox.
little red flying fox.
I don't give a
Is a
flying
hammerhead
fuck
bat
about
in that
some
category?
station.
Now I'm questioning that, though. Hold on.
So what's this Semicalus bat?
Are they all in there, like... No, it would say
No.
hammerhead bat. Because I know it eats fruit, and it's very large, but it's hideous.
Gray flying fox. I don't know. Bats are scary.
What do you mean they're scary?
They're scary.
They're freaking adorable.
Yeah, they don't really do anything.
They're scary looking.
How?
I think they're scary looking.
They look like... Flying foxes
Listen.
look like dogs with wings.
Okay, I think they're scary looking. Okay, you won't eat octopus. I won't. I don't. I think bats are scary looking. Okay,
I don't think those
Done
have the
deal.
same reasoning.
No.
done deal. We have our
That's
opinions.
the biggest straw man.
I think bats are scary looking.
This is a straw man. This is just... Look, we have different opinions on different entirely things on, like, the concept of
You
a creature being scary and eating something.
Yeah.
I like McDonald's and I'm
You said I
afraid
can't
of
judge you for what you want to eat.
I
You
don't
can't
like
judge me for what I
McDonald's
think scary
and I'm
looking.
I mean,
And I don't
that's
like
not a straw man.
orangutans.
That's much more fair when you phrase it like that. But when you just go like, "You won't eat octopus," and just walk off.
But no. It's like
I
saying-
think- I
it's
think
like
that's
saying
scary.
I don't
You
like
can't argue
Taco
because
Bell
you won't
and
eat
you don't
octopus.
like
I don't
orangutan.
think they're scary. I think they're scary looking. It's a different thing.
But I also don't get that. It's like I don't understand. They look like little like rodents.
They have pterodactyl wings. Not really, but they have like
No.
wings.
It's skin.
They have dragon wings.
It's flesh.
It's gross.
You're gross.
Exactly.
They're hands. They're just giant flying hands.
Yeah, they're giant.
I would
webbed
pay
fingers.
good money to become a genetic monstrosity like man bat.
And you can't find girls now. You think you're gonna find girls as a
Oh, that's
giant-
not the point. I'm
Oh!
a giant flying bat creature. You think I need a woman? I am free in that world to eat papayas and fly around.
eat papayas.
I will move to the Amazon rainforest and just be a bat god.
And then get killed by the fucking tribes with their arrows.
They can try. I'll fly away.
No, you fly head first
The problem
into
is
them.
I'd probably give them diseases that they've never even imagined.
No, you can go to visit the tribes.
No, some of those tribes, they actually will die from diseases that they have not
Like
been
you
in
just
contact
sneeze
with.
in there.
Well, you
Like
can't
a
be
real thing.
like because Forrest Galante has been visited some of the tribes.
Some of them.
Not all of them, of course, because we honestly
Because there's
do
some
we
of them
even know
that
how
are on
many,
a list that
do
you
we
were
even-
not supposed to meet.
Do we even know how many of them there are in there?
We have a rough idea. Emphasis on rough.
Rough.
Because we also keep destroying... I say we. The Brazilian government keeps destroying forest space.
We as a species.
That works. Humans keep destroying areas where
We
things
are a
can live in the
society.
forest, and it keeps getting smaller, so we're like, there can only be so many things out there.
Yeah, but it's still humongous, which is kind of frightening. We've taken out how much of that forest, and it's still
Yeah, it's still the
Humongous.
biggest.
You know, it's still bigger. The ocean.
It's like saying, wait, I need to find a metaphor here. It's like saying, I don't know. I had a joke, but I don't want to say it because it's dumb.
I mean, the
It's really
ocean.
dumb.
Like we know more about what's up there than what's down here.
You know, there's people that believe the Earth is flat, and they listen to the talk shows on satellite radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking.
They
The
sim-
level of irony.
They simply just don't believe that works, though. They're simply like, nah, that can't happen.
So
It's like,
I have a couple of flat earthers that I work with.
I'm so sorry.
Just the way you said it so quick. I'm so sorry. No, flat earthers are a game changer, man. Like I sat down.
No, I would willingly physically get into an altercation, even if I lost to someone bigger and stronger
Well,
than
I
me.
told them. I said I would go into debt and take out multiple loans just to send you on the space
Hold on,
tour.
no, go back a second. I just remembered something. You work at the freaking airport.
I know. And I said, you've never seen a curve when you go up to fly? And
They've
he's
been
like-
on an airplane,
and he's
right?
like, yeah. And they're like, I've never seen a curve.
We'll take a free flight.
And I'm just
and
like,
look out the
How good is
window.
their depth perception?
I don't know, but I'm just
How many
like,
eyes do they have?
why? And I use the argument, why is it that I can fly east and keep flying east and end up west? And they were like, have you ever done that? Have you ever done that? I'm like, no, but it's been done. Yeah, but they just say it's been done.
No, you work at an airport. You've met people that have done that.
And like,
You jack off. Die in a hole. I hope they don't watch this.
they might. They know who they are too. But
That makes me mad.
it's
Just
just
because it's like,
I was sitting there. I
to
was
call
so
that
frustrated. And I
impossible.
was just like, I mean, I can't tell them. I can't tell them not to believe this because they've believed it for so long. So I just have
no,
to
you
sit
can
there.
tell them. They can just continue to be wrong.
It's just, and people don't believe. Do you believe in the moon landing? The video?
Yeah.
I believe that we've been there.
I believe that we've been there 100%. But do you believe in the video?
I don't
was
believe in
real?
the conspiracy theories. That's my problem. They're like, there's a problem that people are like, you can't see the stars because it's fake. It's like,
Well, so here are the flat earthers that I worked with. Solution to the moon. And I quote, "You're gonna love this."
Oh god.
Gary, I'm already tense up. I'm gonna have like a heart attack and like spaz out and have a seizure, like you have never seen.
Are you ready? And I quote, "It's a giant spaceship."
Die. Spaceship. Who's on the spaceship? Who's piloting the
That's what I
spaceship?
said.
Why is it a spaceship?
It's the Death Star.
It's the aliens.
I think it's a I think it's a giant spaceship. Where
What's the sun?
no.
What are the stars?
A light bulb.
We are living in Truman Show. Okay. The moon is
If
just.
this is the Truman Show, I want it to be canceled.
I don't know, but I swear to God, that's what they showed to me. And I just looked at him like, "Are you joking?" And
That
he-
would actually put me on the fence of quitting a job, so that way I don't go off on them. For their own safety. I'd be like, I don't know if I can be here and be productive.
Well,
Because
at
I
first
want
thought
to
they
say
were,
something.
At first, I thought they were joking with me, so I was like, "You're silly. You're joking." And then I learned that it's real, and I'm like, "Why?" Have you heard Jordan's flat Earth story? He used to work with a guy who was a flat earther in Hawaii, and he's like, "Let's do a little experiment, okay?" I forget the guy's name.
Hold
I'm gonna call
on,
him
in
Dave.
Hawaii?
Yeah, he's like, "Okay,
He's a
Dave."
flat earther, and was he born in Hawaii?
No, he was.
That's not better.
So.
That means he had to fly there and see the curvature of the globe.
So he said, "Let's do a little experiment, Dave." Dave's not his name. I don't remember what his name was. But he's like,
Dave
"Dave."
works.
So they backed up 2 ends of the truck, and they had a 6-foot level.
Hawaiian Brothers.
They had a 6-foot level, and they put it on the top of the trucks, and they lined it up
Wait,
with
yeah,
the,
I
with the
do remember
horizon.
you talking about this.
And he's like, "So if the Earth's flat, it'll touch here and it'll touch here, right? The horizon line." He's like, "Yep." And sure enough, curved. So it didn't touch the corners; it touched the center. And the guy said he looked right down at it. He looked at it. Nope. And he walked away.
I'd hit him in the back of the head. I'd take the level and
Well, so one of my arguments
one
was
swift kick to the junk.
I said man's first understanding of the Earth was that it's flat. Why would we go back on that? Like our original understanding of the Earth was that it was flat, correct? Why would we be like, "No, it's round," when it's flat? If a human was like, "Hey, the Earth is flat," and it was, they'd be like, "Yeah, motherfuckers, I was right. The Earth's flat."
Right, we would live with that. There's
Right.
no reason to hide it. That's my problem. There's always a conspiracy
listen
theory
to-
to be like,
listen to the reason
it's about
why they-
power.
Listen to the reason why they hide it.
Whose power?
God's underneath the Earth. And I'm all for believing in God. I believe in God. But I think that's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. The reason that they hide the edge of their world is because if you go underneath the earth, that's where God is. These are the kind of people who still believe that we're the center of the universe.
What? You broke him?
I don't know what I can say for the rest of the episode without just being mad at this. I'm gonna fixate on it. We started this episode with like wacky combinations. Take off 10 minutes from that time, and that's how many minutes we've actually been doing the
lovely.
episode. So we actually have only been talking for like 30-something minutes.
Are you shitting me?
Yes.
It felt like an hour.
Right?
Well, it's because I'm
sweet Jesus.
this is some people that I work with every day.
At an airport.
That's what.
In an area where you can see the Earth curve to a certain degree. You can see the horizon bend.
Uh-huh.
This is America. Don't catch me tripping now. This is America.
I wish I could do a substance about this.
I
wish I could forget. I wish to be as ignorantly bliss
I'd rather
as a
die
flat earther.
a happy idiot than a person who's smart. Michael Scott.
Oh my God.
It's not an incorrect quote.
My favorite flat Earth thing
I wish I was happy
that
and
has ever
stupid.
existed was Logan Paul's flat Earth mockumentary.
Yeah.
Because you just exposed how stupid everything was.
I know. Well, he goes in and he's like convincing these people that he's a flat earther, and like that was like 4 months of like canvassing, I guess, like of him being like, I'm a
4
flat
months? It would
earther.
take 5 minutes.
No,
They
like,
believe halfway anything.
well, no, not the flat earthers. Like him convincing his audience that he was one because no one believed him. Like
Gotcha.
it was like on podcasts.
I thought you were
in
saying
blogs.
like interacting with
Well, like,
flat earthers.
but
No.
then on the mockumentary came out at the end, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not a flat earther. This is the stupidest shit I've ever heard."
When Logan Paul
says
that, you know you have a problem.
So I told the flat earthers after I was screaming, I said I would go into debt, take out multiple loans to send you on these private tours of space now.
I'm just gonna leave them in space.
And then I don't know where their heads are at.
Up their asses.
But like I don't want to be mean because one of them's really cool. Like he's a cool guy.
Argument.
He just
He's
believes
a flat earther.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He's a cool guy, but like he just believes the Earth's flat. I'm just like,
I mean,
rip.
they're
normal people. They just believe the Earth's
like
Perish
Yeah.
stupidly.
I get that. I had a family member who's since passed, who one of the nicest people I've ever met.
flat earther.
But
He's also a joke.
but he was anti-vax. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, nicest dude, one of the nicest people I've ever met. But man, he had some conspiracies in his head.
What if we all go to the edge of the Earth?
Dude, if I could go to the edge of the Earth, I'm gonna welcome it because I guess the flat earthers were right. Might as well leave.
Are you crying?
No.
Well, and so this guy's argument to my whole why can we continue to fly east and end up west was, I was like, people have done it. He's like, have they, or have they just turned the plane around during the flight?
If they turn the plane around,
I was like,
then how did they end up on the other side?
and I was like, hear me out. How can we get to Asia 2 different ways? He's like, you can't.
How did the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor? How did we nuke them twice?
Well, so they think it's a disc, right? So they think it's like a circle.
Uh-huh.
It's like a circle. So like, it's like it's the coast still match up.
So
it's
how
like a
the hell
circle.
how the hell do you go?
It's like a disc.
How do you go from the North Pole to the South Pole back to freaking Africa then?
Yeah, but have you ever done that?
How do they explain
Have you ever done
Can
that?
they explain magnetic north then? And how north is always in a consistent latitude?
I guess that their north is just the center of the Earth, where the center would be, in their disc. Because there's the Arctic Wall, Wyatt. There's a thing called the Arctic Wall.
And that's where the White Walkers come over and murder Jon Snow.
Yes, But like I'm saying, if there's an Arctic wall, we would be able to see it. I love one of my favorite flat earther moments is the video where they set up the walls 17 feet apart from each other and they cut holes in the same places and they're like, this light should shine all the way through,
And
it doesn't because the Earth is curved.
And
then their argument to that is, well, at some part of the Earth, like I'm not saying the Earth is completely flat because there's mountains and hills and stuff.
then go
But I'm
go
like,
to Kansas.
And I was like, walk outside right now and look on the concrete slab that we fucking work on and tell me it's not flat. Because I was pretty
Who's
upset.
making that noise? Because that one
That
wasn't me.
was
That's me.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, audience. I totally just slapped the shit out of this mic. But I was like, tell me if you go look outside right now and tell me that's not flat. And he was like, no, I'm saying like it's still like it should be a curve, but we're not a ball in space. I was like, I'm gonna explode. I literally said, I'm going to implode in on myself.
I'm going to become a pilot just to take him up there, beat the shit out of him, and drop him in the Pacific Ocean on a boat going to Japan. And I'm taking off from Kansas and going west.
All I'm saying.
I'm going to show him where he turns around, goddammit.
I think we need to get away from this topic for the last 15 minutes of this podcast.
No.
Why is the Earth round? Why couldn't it be a diamond shape?
Why is it not a cube? Why is it not a
Why isn't it Minecraft?
polyhedral dice? And the moon's
Why
just...
is it not a D20?
That's what it is. It's a D20.
You know what that means, though?
What?
You can still go around it in one specific direction.
You know what it also means? We rolled. What if God rolls a natural 1 on his next saving throw?
Extinction event.
That's what happened to the dinosaurs.
Yeah, what do you think happened 65 million years ago?
One of my favorite movie quotes ever is from Ultron. He said, every time the Earth settles down, God throws a stone at it. And trust me, he's winding up. I think that's badass.
Especially from a robot.
I know, the only living thing on this planet will be metal.
Which is also big talk for a thing that is like, that will kill you in your hubris.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know how impacts work? The only thing it's going to save you is not being on the ground.
Well, I guess if you're vibranium,
Still,
it
though,
wouldn't melt you.
it wouldn't melt you, but it's still going to beat the ever-loving hell out of you.
But you just take a beating and go on with your life.
That's not how that works.
And if you're on this side of the planet and it gets impacted and the fire comes around, are you just getting the fire at that point, or are you getting the impact as well?
It's physical force. So,
Force damage.
you know how like a Moab works with like the same power of a nuclear bomb without all the nuclear stuff, and it
Mhm.
shook an entire continental shelf?
Yeah.
That.
Okay.
Also, did freaking Christopher Nolan get Moab?
I don't know what he did, but he simulated a nuclear bomb. That's all I know.
And for the movie?
Yes, he simulated with practical effects a nuclear bomb.
Well, you know, he asked to set off a real one. And the government was like, yeah, no. And he was like, screw you.
Fine, I'll
Well,
make my own nuclear bomb with blackjack and hookers.
One of the cinematic masterpiece, G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. No, G.I. Joe, the second one with Channing Tatum. Retaliation. They use those big titanium poles to kill people, to nuke cities.
That would, yeah, impact.
All the fun.
Call of Duty Ghosts. Do you remember the beginning sequence
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
with the metal poles start dropping and it warps the ground? That. But that on an even bigger scale, and Ultron would be buried until the point, like, like what he's making is the impact of like a glacier shelf moving.
Mm.
It would do so much damage if he is on the ground standing there that, like, vibranium or not, his servos are going down.
Right. What do you think? Here's a question. What do you think's in the ice on the North Pole
In the North Pole?
or in the South Pole? What do you think's stuck in there?
Stuck in there? Yeah, bacteria. Maybe a few carcasses of something.
Maybe like a few preserved freaking polar bears, or like what was a polar bear?
Or if it's south, it would be possibly, yeah.
Penguin is
Do you think there's any species that we've never discovered in the ice?
probably.
In the ice itself, doubt it.
You think?
So the problem is that we've gone through so many different ice ages, and that's how those areas get built up.
Right.
things would be crushed or changed, but there is still land mass underneath Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
There's still, possibility of
What do you
like, if it
think's
melted, you could
underneath
grow
the ice
grass.
in Antarctica?
Underneath the ice in Antarctica, ground. Like
Yeah, but
straight
what do you
ground.
think's in the ground there?
Oh, possibility of fossils and all sorts of stuff. But if you ask Graham Hancock, he's going to say, there is a lost civilization, and that's where the capital was. And it's like, shut the hell up, you stupid idiot.
So, in the North Pole and the South Pole, do you think it's ice from floor to ceiling, or do you think there's a little thin layer of water underneath it? Because I don't know. I really don't know this answer.
Well, North Pole is ice.
Like from ground, like from floor to top.
It's not land,
It's just ice, just a big floating ice.
pretty much. I say that with like a very minimal kind of point blank system.
There's probably a few islands up there.
There's no volcanic work up there.
Yeah, but
The
there's still
islands.
land at the bottom of the ocean.
Well, yeah.
So that's why I'm asking: is it go from ocean floor ice on the
no,
ocean floor
because
all the
it
way to
gets
the top, or is there
so
water
deep.
underneath there?
No.
Yeah, there's going to be water between this part and this part.
Right.
Because
That's what I was asking.
At that point, it'd be
In Antarctica, yeah,
hotter
it's
down-
ground,
hotter
I mean.
closer to the ground, yeah.
But like, it's actual like Earth down there, and it's just
at
like
some
how
point,
thick's
yeah,
the ice
no,
down there?
It's got its own.
Is the ice really thick down there too?
It depends on the area. In some places, yes. In some places, no. Because like you'll see like pictures of like penguins on glaciers,
Right.
Like or
So-
icebergs, just kind of.
And on the south, it's
Icebergs.
ice on top of a normal landmass. On the north,
Yeah.
it's just a big
It's
floating.
a straight up continent, like an
Right.
actual.
Right. Okay, I'm getting it. And then on the north, it's a big old.
Yeah, it's encapsulated as like
That's
an
why
ice
it's called
cap.
the ice cap.
It's like a giant yarmulke made of ice.
Right. Okay.
The Earth
But there's like
is
no
real.
Earth underneath it. Like it's not like you. It's not like when it snows here. Like as a very minimal scale. It's
Right.
like it snows on the ocean, but it's just a big piece, or like a pond freezing.
It's
like
the
that.
granddaddy of things that would have murdered the Titanic.
Right. Okay, I get
So
it.
as it melts, it's literally rising everything. It's not just like
Right.
So-
it's solid enough that you can go walk on it. Of course,
Of
'cause
course,
people
right.
go up to the North Pole officially.
Well, you
or
can
have
drive
been-
on like
been
you can
there.
drive a car on like that much ice.
That's what I'm saying.
So like you could do anything.
But imagine that. But it's also like
So if you say you're walking,
100 feet thick.
right? Say you're walking in the North Pole, and you just hear, and then all the way down,
You're gone.
and then
Dead.
Yeah, no more, and you'll never be found.
you literally
You'll be crushed.
vaporized.
Everything is gone.
Like
There's going to be so much force and power over the time that you would even be exposed that you'd be nothing.
right. That's like those videos of like, man, I can't believe I'm gonna be the last guy to touch this rock again, and then he throws it into like the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah,
It's like, man, I can't believe no one's ever gonna see me again, ever.
you are the pebble
Right.
thrown into the sand.
Yeah.
Not even a fish will feast upon your corpse type of levels. You won't be eaten. You'll just be crushed. You'll
Do you think
become a
you'd just be
mineral deposit.
vaporized instantly?
Well, I mean,
would
not
have to be.
exactly, but
Would have to be.
what do you mean vaporized?
Like not vapor, like but like just completely explode into like paste and like nothing. Like your
Like
bone-
when you hit the bottom?
no, when the
Oh, like when they hit each other? Yeah, no, you're a stain.
yeah.
That'll last like a microcosm of like what the actual age of however long it'll go.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to like that blue layer, that ice is older than civilization.
It's really not that far down, which is the scary part.
Oh yeah, no, I mean like the ice melting itself is partially natural but overly extensive, like the inner factor of like man in the past, 150 years.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen that video of the ice? They're just kayaking and the just not like it's humongous, obviously, but it looks like not like a big piece like you'd see, but it just ice just falls in the water and then just destroys their kayak like a wave.
yeah.
Like
That's the thing. Hydrodynamics is
It's like
also
a tidal
a
wave.
beautiful thing. This has also calmed me down from flat Earth a little bit,
Mhm.
just because it's like this itself is an entire concept of geology, because ice and ice dynamics is the same as like magma to a certain degree,
right.
and how it's both disciplines of geoscience.
Yeah.
So, unlike a normal part of Antarctica, what's a good thickness of ice
Oh, dude, I don't know.
on top of the land?
I ain't got nothing for that. I just know there's land.
So it's like if Missouri was covered in ice, and then the North ice cap is like if I threw a big chunk of ice in the Smithville Lake.
Don't know.
Right.
Yeah, this is a big question. It Depends on the thickness of the area, because I mean, like, I'm sure if you get to like the center, it changes it a lot.
Antarctica ice wall is what it comes up. Antarctica, how thick ice?
How thick is it?
Oh wait, I'm on YouTube, not. How thick is ice on Antarctica? 2,160 meters thick.
Multiply that by 3.3.
And here's like the diagram, like land ice.
Yep.
Ice sheets is 4,000. Wait, at its thickest point, the ice sheet is 4,776 meters deep. It averages about 2,160 meters deep.
How many?
You want the average or the deepest?
I'll take the average.
2,160.
2,160.
So that's like 7,000 and something.
7,128 feet, roughly,
Yeah.
by average, ish.
This ice is 90% of all world's ice and 70% of all the world's fresh water. Dang, I didn't know that.
It's also a desert.
How thick is ice North Pole?
I need a drink of water.
2 to 3 meters. What? Okay. The depth of the ocean in the North Pole is 4,000 meters. Dang. North Pole sits in the middle of the Arctic Ocean on water that is almost always covered with ice. The ice is about 2 to 3 meters, so 6 to 10 feet thick. It's kind of underwhelming. Yeah, so the thickest ice in the world is Antarctic ice sheet.
Think about it this way too. You gotta think about it this way too. The ice, the water is moving since it's water. It's moving, it's changing and stuff, but down there the continent is not moving, so the ice doesn't really break apart all that much.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's why it's not as thick.
The lack of moisture itself in
So
terms of like,
what's in the land in Antarctica, bro?
oh, probably nothing. It's probably been crushed to high heaven.
The pressure, yeah.
You think?
Well, I mean, think about how much ice, the pressure from ice there is, and then the also ground itself under that.
I wonder if Antarctica was ever not snowy. Or has it just always been because it's so far from the equator?
Because of it being a cap,
Right.
there's been always kind of ice there. But I don't know much about the
Geological.
geological landmass of the continental area that exists down there in and of itself.
Is it just penguins down there? Or is
Animal-
there
There's snow foxes a little bit.
Animal-wise, yeah, it should just be primarily penguins.
Yeah, it's primarily penguins, with a few like variations
say,
of
I don't-
Arctic foxes and
I don't
stuff.
think
Are you
Arctic
sure?
foxes are in the
Oh wait,
south.
no, Arctic
No.
foxes are up north. Yeah.
Because the penguins were the only things that can move that far. Because there's also other species
what kind
of
of
penguins.
penguins?
Well,
Emperor penguins?
A whole lot of penguins.
King penguins?
you know every species of penguin that's not a puffin?
Yeah.
That.
Okay. Do they just migrate down there? To say what's up? Do they
They-
swim all that way?
They live in the south. You know, puffins only live in the north, right? Like
Right.
every other penguin's in the south.
Right.
There's
Puffins can fly though.
Well, yeah, puffins do, but they don't go south.
Right. They go north.
They just
Wait,
stick up north.
puffins are penguins?
They look like penguins, and they get associated with penguins because they're a cold weather bird.
Okay. I was like
So, like, if you go to a lot of zoos and places, they'll have puffins in like,
next to
a
penguins.
penguin area. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and I don't think they're related, other than
They-
being
they-
birds.
because-
Other
Yeah.
than being black and white with a bill.
Pretty much
So all penguins are from south.
south of the equator,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least.
Well, I thought there was
Because
some
there's, like-
mainland bird.
There's like
penguins.
rockhopper
Galapagos
penguins,
Right.
and stuff. Yeah.
but they still migrate to where they can be as cold as possible, or
I
try
wonder
to.
why.
So, like, you'll see rockhopper penguins like at our zoo, and they'll like survive in like the warmer area.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because of like, am I saying is it rockhopper or is it a different thing?
I know
I know
there's
what you're saying.
Galapagos,
They
yeah.
make the
The
nests
ones
with
that
the rocks.
don't, yeah, they don't have like any of like the true dark color, and they also have a little bit of pink and a little bit of like spots, more like versus
I
just
mean,
a straight suit
I'd
of
ask
black
my
and white.
mom, but also my phone is what's recording because my mom loves penguins.
The ones that they take to the Nelson,
Right.
those ones, I think they have a different name.
What are Mr. Popper's penguins?
for as far as I know, dude. They're like an emperor penguin. I like penguins. They're probably my favorite bird, but I can't rattle that off.
Penguins
the top
are your
of my
favorite bird, really?
Head. I don't know. They're the ones I can consistently come back to.
What's your favorite bird?
I don't know.
Because I really like birds of prey too.
They're birds.
Anything.
Birds are rad.
I know.
Anything in like the raptor family is really cool. Birds of prey, like anything that's
No, I know what you meant, but I was like thinking, I was going through them. I knew
like
what you
from
meant.
owls to eagles.
I mean,
and-
like,
Right,
I
no,
like
I was
owls, but I
just
also
thinking
like
what would be the
penguins. I
peregrine
don't know.
falcons are pretty fun.
The fastest animal, right?
Up there, I think.
I think they're definitely faster than
I know
a
a type
land
of falcon
animal.
is, but I don't know if it's a peregrine
It's
falcon.
they're the ones that dive at like 200 miles an hour.
Are they really?
Yeah.
The little peregrine falcons?
Yeah.
Like up here?
Yeah, peregrine falcons are the ones that
I
dive
thought
at
it was a
200
different type of falcon.
No. It is definitely the peregrine falcon.
Fielkin.
Quails are pretty funny looking,
Coils.
but like penguins, there's something about them. Huh. Just the little peregrine falcons from up here.
Dive from like 200 miles an hour.
Imagine that hitting concrete. It's going to leave a dent.
In the concrete or your forehead.
Oh,
your
yeah,
forehead's
no,
going
if
to
it
be
hits
paste.
you, yeah. Like imagine if it hits a person.
Oh. Could it go through you?
I mean,
That's a good question.
I mean, it's not traveling faster than
What
a bullet.
exactly is the terminal
Or
velocity
would it just feel
of
like
this
a-
scenario?
Would it just feel like you're getting hit super hard?
Well, it's going 200 miles an hour. It's going to go in you for a little bit. It's going to do something.
Well, that's on a...
Yeah.
Connor! On the note of that, we're out of time for this week's episode of the podcast.
Stay tuned. For
Connor
next
just
week.
shit his pants.
I did not shit my
I
pants.
shit my pants. Wyatt,
I'm
what's the
getting there.
secret word?
Wyatt's aggressively about to shit his pants.
Wyatt's
It's going to escalate.
shit his pants so aggressively
That
that
he
it
makes
shakes
the
the
continental
earth. The
shelf.
continental
Wyatt
shelf.
will shit so hard that it'll make the earth flat.
I want shit so hot that it melted ice. You know when you get those hot shits?
Your body temperature should be able to, like,
You know when you get those hot shits and it burns your butthole? Love those. Anyway, Wyatt, what's the secret word? Wyatt, what is the secret
give
word?
me a moment to catch back up mentally.
No.
That's all one word, by the way. lot of
What's the
hyphens.
secret word?
I can't think of the word I'm looking for. And it's like a derailed.
Derailed?
Derailed
Connor,
is the
your
word.
ass stinks, bro. That
I'm
stinks.
so sorry.
The word is derailed. The secret word of the episode is derailed.
All right, go down in the comment section below. Wyatt will give you a gold star, and Connor will shit in your mouth. Anyway, guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.